Good evening, respected Jyoti ma'am, our mentors, and science enthusiasts. Welcome to the first session organized by the virtual science learning community, Explicator Science Share. Today we have with us Mr. Syed Anab Akhtar, who is an LBIS alumni and a computer science graduate pursuing masters from Queen's Mary, London. He has previously interned at various companies and institutions like the University of Singapore, Hewlett Packard Enterprises. He's also been a teaching assistant as well as an instructor for various machine learning and artificial intelligence programs. In his free time, Anab is always working on multiple real life projects and tries his best to come up with creative solutions to day life problems using code. In this session, Mr. Anab will be talking about spirit of technology. That is, how technology can be used effectively to help tackle real world problems, like human computer interaction and designing special devices to help the elderly as well as the specially abled. Along with this, Mr. Anab will be enlightening us with application coding, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and lots more. They extend our gratitude and warm regards to Mr. Anab for conducting this session. Before we begin, there are some rules for the session. Cameras should be switched on and mics be muted throughout the session. After Mr. Anab's presentation, we will be having a question answer session. All those who have queries, kindly raise your hands and you will be recognized. I now request Jyoti ma'am to kindly invite Mr. Anab to take the session forward.
Good evening, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to you all on the occasion of the first session of the Science VLC. A special welcome to our dear alumni, Anab. Anab is a computer science graduate and he's pursuing masters from the Queen's Mary, London. And I feel really proud. It's actually a proud moment for any teacher when you share the same platform as your student. My heart fills with pride when I see how Anab has progressed and how successful he's become in his life. Today, I actually feel very nostalgic as some fond memories come back. Our endless animated discussions while preparing for various inter-school competitions, debates, declamations. Also, we worked on comparing scripts for annual day. So, I have worked very closely with Anab for 5 years, and it's making me feel nostalgic and full of emotions. I really do not know what to say, but I'm very proud, Anab, for what you've achieved in life. I thank all the members of the department, the science department, as well as the children who have worked diligently for this event. I know the midterm exams have just finished a day ago. I don't know where you got time to prepare for the event. A lot of hard work has gone into it, and I really appreciate the efforts of each one of you, students as well as teachers. And no event is possible without teamwork. So, excellent teamwork, children, for this event. Without saying much, I would now like to hand over to Anna. A knack of forming a good connect with the audience. So, and we look forward, Anna, to many more such sessions. I know you should keep coming back to us, and we would love to have you again. So now the floor is all open, and I want Anna to please take over the session.
Thank you so much, man. That was such a hearty welcome. I'm so emotional right now. And yeah, it is very nostalgic to, be amongst all these teachers who I used to see for so many years. It's indeed an honor that you guys invited me. And I hope all the students who are here today, they enjoy today's session and they have fun. And most importantly, they learn something. So I'll start now without wasting a lot of time. Hello everyone, my name is Anab. These people have already introduced me so in such a grand manner. Just like you guys, I was once a student at Lotus Valley, and I was always the kind of student who was very curious about a lot of things, and I used to go out of my way to not just study but also try hands at different activities and competitions and whatnot. And today's session is something about that has always been very close to my heart, which is technology, and using that technology in a way that we can help people out there, and using it in an innovative way altogether. So I'll share my screen. I have a nice presentation for all of you guys, and don't worry, it is not a boring presentation as such. It is one where you guys will enjoy. You guys will be able to interact with me, and there's different things that I've planned for all of you. But before I start, I'll be pasting a link in the chat section. It is a poll, and the reason for this poll is I want to know from the students who are here today, and even from the teachers, what topic do you want me to focus on more today. So if you could just simply click on that link and then give your votes. It's a direct poll link, and the results would be visible on the screen. So just take 2 minutes and simply click on that link and vote for any topic that you are interested in. There are different topics that I chose so that I cater to all the students and their demands. The interesting thing is, I do not want only people who are into computer science to enjoy this session, irrespective of your branch, irrespective of your domain, whether you're a humanities student or a commerce student or a science student who is into medical, like biology and stuff. I want everyone to learn something from today's session. And this is what my presentation for today starts with. It starts with the fact that coding, it isn't just a skill, it is literacy. And I know it sounds very far-fetched that, hey, why does everyone need to learn to code, and why do we need to teach everyone how to use a computer? But the thing is, just as you would go to a different country and then interact with those people, you'll need to know their language, you need to know how they speak. In the same way, when we dwell into this world of computers, when we go and talk to the computers, we interact with machines, we need to know how these machines speak. So that is why I personally believe that coding is something that should be taught to everyone. And the thing is, it's not necessarily programming, hardcore programming, that needs to be taught to everyone. It's more of a generic basic skill which needs to be taught to everyone. So yeah, even if I know a lot of people who are doctors, in fact, and I know a lot of people who are bankers, who are very good coders and programmers. And the reason why we want such people to code is because we know that coding is for everyone and it can solve problems for everyone. And when I say code, I do not mean that cliched image that you have in mind, someone wearing a hoodie and sitting on the laptop 24/7. No, that is not coding. Programming in general is using your brains, your skills, and creating something interesting out of it with means of the computer. So today's entire session would be on different domains and different topics, and the results are out. Oh, okay, artificial intelligence wins by a large margin. So I guess we will be going with AI in a deeper sense today. I'll also cover all the different topics that are mentioned, obviously, and I know a lot of students will have different questions regarding these topics, so I'll touch upon all of these. So the presentation that I had prepared are some very simple and very generic presentations. I have been on the other side of these webinars and these sessions, so I know how boring it gets when there's so much text on the screen and someone is just reading from a presentation like this, and on the other end the students are like, yeah, when will this guy stop? I know that. I've been that student. I understand what you're going through. So, let's first talk about the rise of artificial intelligence, which is the topic that won our poll today. A lot of you already know about what AI is. You must have heard that statement that what AI is. Let's Google what AI is. AI. If we Google the term AI, you will come across this Wikipedia page which talks about how artificial intelligence works, what AI generally looks like, and whatnot. But in reality, all of this is not technically AI when you read through these links and articles, because whenever we search about AI, whenever we look at images, these are the things that you see robots, see machines and their brains and whatnot. But AI is a lot different from all of this. So in today's session, towards the end of the session, all of us, even the students, even the teachers, I'll share links with all of you, and we'll all interact with a real AI kind of machine, and you can get a real time feedback as to how an AI actually works. This, what you see in front of your screen right now, these images that people have in their minds, that the concept that AI will take over the world one day, all of this is not AI. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. What we will do today is we will check out some really cool experiments with Google. So I'll share these links later on. The reason why I wanted to bring this interesting topic is I wanted to show you guys what actual AI is about. So this is a very famous website. It's called Experiments with Google. So on this website there are different AI experiments that Google has worked upon, and then they give it out to the people to interact with such forms of AI. So the first and foremost one is the draw with Google. So over here I have time to draw the
I
Mona
see
Lisa.
knee, or
I
circle,
am
or
drawing
bottle cap, or
the
mouse.
Mona Lisa. I'm
I
very
see
bad at
flamingo,
this.
or ant, or frog, or bear, or curly hair.
So as you see,
Sorry,
as
I
I
couldn't
am
guess it.
drawing these things, the AI tries to figure out what is it that I'm actually drawing, right? So whenever I'm trying to draw something, the AI will try to figure out
I
that
see
okay,
circle,
this guy is
or
trying
moon,
to draw
or
something.
potato, or smiley face, or goatee. I see mouth, or mustache.
So as
I
I'm
see beard.
as I'm drawing
I see
something,
short monster,
it understands
or
what I'm
face.
trying to draw. And
Sorry,
this
I
is
couldn't
what
guess it.
AI is about. It's about,
I see
understanding
necklace.
what the user
Oh, I
wants.
know. It's wine glass.
And this is just a very simple example as to how we can interact with AI on our own. And what you have been seeing in movies and whatnot, that is not real artificial intelligence. In fact, a lot of people have this confusion between what AI is and what machine learning is. So I'll be talking about that too in today's presentation. um Before I move further with what AI is, here are some interesting topics with which a lot of the you students should research upon after this presentation ends. I've fit this entire presentation with a lot of bonus content like this. So just make a note if you find any of these topics interesting. You should research about these topics, because I believe that these different domains, neural implants, augmented reality glasses, haptic suits, these are some cool ideas and cool project ideas that you guys should look into. Yeah, let's move forward. Mobile applications with AI superpowers. Now here's one interesting project that I worked upon. So I post a lot of projects on my LinkedIn. In fact, one of my very close project that's very close to my heart is this project. I am inspired by Dr. Doofenshmirtz from this cartoon called Phineas and Ferb, and I name all my projects as nators. So what happened some time ago, I made this project last year, and what happened was I went outside to buy coriander because my mom told me to buy some vegetables and some herbs. And when I went to the shop, I was confused. I did not, I could not differentiate between a lot of herbs and a lot of things that were there. Like, I did not know the difference between sag and palak. Like, I was like, aren't these the same things? And then coriander and mint, dhania and pudina, these things looked very similar. And I was like, okay, these things look similar, how do I differentiate it? So I came back home and I had the idea that, hey, why do I not build a mobile application or a website where I can simply take the camera, point it towards the object, and it will tell me what it actually is. So I came back home, I went on my laptop, I coded up a nice computer program and did some machine learning. I taught my program to differentiate between what mint is. So how did I teach that program? Well, I took thousands and thousands of photographs of mint, which is the pudina leaf, and then I taught my computer that, hey, the images you are seeing, this is mint. And in the same way, I taught my computer to understand what coriander is. So this is a form of machine learning where I teach something to my computer using different data sets. So I actually went to my kitchen and took hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photographs of coriander and mint, and then I created an entire data set, and then I taught my computer, my program, that okay, this is mint and this is coriander, so that tomorrow when I open my camera, open my application, the computer can easily tell me that, hey Anab, this is what you're looking at is dhania, or what you're looking at is pudina. And this is just a very small example as to how we can power our mobile applications with cool AI superpowers and whatnot. So till now, does anyone has any questions or any doubts, anything that you want to ask right now? I'll pause for a second. Any questions, anything till now, something you did not understand, something you want me to talk about more? I'll give you 5 seconds. If no, then I'll move forward. Perfect. All right. I will now move forward. This next topic is the human computer interaction topic. This is very close to me because a lot of my projects have been on this interesting topic, and you guys might have heard of it, might have not, but here's a term which you probably have heard of, which is gesture recognition. So you know how we interact with machines by touching, by pressing the keyboard, by swiping, but in a lot of different programs and in a lot of projects, you must have seen how people wave in front of the screen, or they do a particular gesture. For example, you must have played through the Kinect, which is a gaming console where you wave your hand and you can play games, right? A similar idea popped up to me around like a few 1 or 2 years ago. I was watching Netflix, and I'll be very honest, I'm a very very lazy person, and I am very lazy. I literally don't want to do a lot of work physically. So I was watching Netflix, and I came up with the idea that, hey, what if I build a project where I can control my screen by not going to my laptop and then interacting with it, but I just stay at a distance and then I just wave my hands and then control my screen. So I came up with this idea where I'll show different numbers, and this is an example of, again, first is machine learning. So my computer understands when it sees on the camera that I'm showing the number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And the other example part of the project is human computer interaction. So whenever I do a gesture or interact with my computer, it performs a certain task. So if you I'll move forward and let's see how this works with Netflix. So I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, nice show. So whenever I take the number 1 in front of the webcam, it pauses, and whenever I take it again, it plays, right? So this is what the power of simple solutions, tailored with machine learning and human computer interaction are like. So I had a simple problem that I'm lazy, I do not want to go all the way and then touch my laptop and then come back to my bed. So I came up with a solution that, what if I wave to my laptop? And here is the answer. Like, I solved my problem within minutes. Like, not minutes, it took some time to create this program, but yeah, I this is what I want from you guys also. I want solutions that you students can come up with, interesting solutions to simple day-to-day problems. Okay. The next topic that you guys already really know about is chatbots. So you guys must have your iPhones or Android phones, and even if you do not have phones, your parents must have phones. So you know how chatbots work. You have Google Assistant, also you have Siri also, and then whenever you go to a website, on the bottom right there are different chatbots that are available that says, "Hey, how can I help you today?" So how do these chatbots work? There's one interesting topic in machine learning and artificial intelligence. It's called natural language processing. So what NLP, natural language processing, is basically it's how we convert our speech, our text, our natural language. So the way that I'm talking to you right now, how do we use that natural language and allow a machine to understand what I'm saying? So whenever I'm saying that, hey, hello, This is a normal human conversation, but it is not normal for a machine. And whenever I say okay Google, so when Google wakes up and it answers my query, it has to understand what I'm saying. It has to understand what okay Google means. Whenever I say hey Alexa play this song, the sensors over there pick my voice and they convert it to an electrical signal. That signal gets converted to some task, right? This is what natural language processing is, and this is how our chatbots or our AI assistants work. All right, moving on to the next topic then. We now talk about an era of video conferencing. So, in fact, the best example is this Google Meet right now, right? We're interacting. Far.
Anab, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I think there are few people in the
Oh,
lobby.
I've
I'm getting messages that they are wanting to join
yes,
in.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I've added all.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, so Google Meets and other video conferencing ideas, where we can interact with people which who are far off from our place. And for this video conferencing, I have this very interesting, very cool project that I came across,
Students
and
with
I've even been
ADHD
in
6
touch with
and
the founder of this particular project. So this project is known as Portal. So what you're seeing in front of your screen is a big box. So like it's a life-sized box, and the person inside this box is somewhere else. He's not over there. He's somewhere else. He's and in real time, that particular box projects his image in a holographic way. So like you look at that person and you're like whoa, you're actually there, but that person is not there. And this is kind of like the future of video conferencing. So imagine interacting with people live like this, and even they're far off in in a different part of the world. You can interact with them in a very humanly way, because when we sit across a computer, it's the conversation is very different, but when we're face to face, it makes a lot of difference. And this is what Portal is. This is a very cool project which you guys should check later on. So this was a small discussion, and I'll pause right now for some questions and anything that you guys might have. So
Anab, few people are still, I think, waiting. I hope you allowed everyone.
ma'am, I've allowed everyone.
If you could disable the lobby because I'm getting around 15-20 messages that people are in queue.
Oh, okay, just a second. Till then, any questions, anyone?
Add one question.
Akshat, go
Akshat,
ahead.
go ahead, ask your question.
I wanted to ask, you were just now talking about human machine and or human computer interaction. I was recently reading about cyborgs. So, cyborg should be much based upon the computer part or the biology part.
Thanks for the question, Akshat. So, cyborgs are basically a concept where we want to develop a robot that is a lot like, human also. So, humanoid robots come in that concept of cyborgs. So, when we talk about human-computer interaction, we're generally talking about human interaction with a machine. And the thing you're talking about is a cyborg interaction. So, that would be a machine interaction with a human. The difference is whenever I'm working on a project where I know that the human will interact with the machine, that would mean that I will need to make sure the machine understands what the human is saying. So there will be sensors in the machine, there will be a neural network in the machine that understands what I'm trying to say. But when I'm doing it the other way around, where I want the cyborg to look like a human, I will work on its appearance. I will work on how the cyborg speaks. I will work on how the cyborg interacts with someone else. So I will work on how the cyborg understands words, how the cyborg sounds. These are the small details that I would work on to make sure that that particular robot, that humanoid cyborg, we call them androids. So android, from the phone, but the real term android means for a robot that imitates a human, that looks like a human. So when you're talking about cyborgs, you mean we're honestly a bit far off from that era right now, but we have a really great example in this world today. It's called Sophia the robot. So if you could Google that, that would be like, Sophia is
Okay.
very famous. She's been to a lot of different countries, and she looks like a normal
Mm.
human being. And she's actually a robot who works on artificial intelligence, and she interacts with people. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Perfect. Any other question till now? Anything else? None? Alright, perfect. So I'll share my screen once again. I have a few other, topics that I want to talk about. And before, just a second. Yeah, before I speak about, other topics, here are a few YouTube channels that I would love if you guys, check out or look at those videos. Because we as students, and I've been a student in school, so I know whenever we sit down on our laptops, on our computers, we tend to stray away from something very knowledgeable. We end up watching movies on Netflix or end up playing games and whatnot. I honestly watch YouTube a lot, but not stuff that wastes my time. I really, really enjoy watching these channels. So I would love if you guys make a note of these channels. The first and foremost is Free Think. It's an amazing YouTube channel. It's about how technology is used in a lot of different ways, and I have this amazing video over here which I'll show to you guys. So the audio is not important. The video is about how there's this particular institute in US where what they've done is they've used gloves, simple normal gloves, and they fit those gloves with motors. And what they've done is those motors, they kind of give like a haptic feedback in that person's palm and fingers. So what happens is, I'll move forward and you guys can see. So this is the glove over here in at the bottom, and what their aim is that when you wear that glove, they'll pass electrical signals and the motor will control each finger. So once you wear that glove, and let's say I pass a signal of a song, let's say Beethoven's Symphony 5, and what will happen is the tune of that symphony will play, and I won't be doing anything. The motor is working over here in the palm of that glove and it's giving a haptic feedback. So I'll be doing my normal task and my fingers will be moving very little. But the magic that happens is like what happens after where people wear these gloves and that finger vibrates. They do their daily tasks. But something very cool happens when you've worn that glove for a long period of time. So here you see a guy who's never played the piano before. Like, he comes up to this a piano, and what was happening is for the past few hours he wore that glove, he was given haptic feedback on his fingers, and he plays Beethoven's music as if he knew it by heart. And this guy has never ever played the piano. And what's happening right now is he wore that glove, he was given that haptic feedback, he was doing normal day to day tasks like, drinking water, doing anything. And he did not even know what was happening, but his muscles remembered that particular motion. And what happened was he was able to play the piano perfectly. And this is just a small example of how many cool things our brain is capable of, and how we can actually go ahead and hack our brains into doing cool stuff. So this was Free Think, one of my favorite YouTube channels, and the others are also cool like this. There's great visuals also, you'll get to learn a lot. If you're into coding specifically, if you want to go for computer science, if you want to go to learn a different language like Python, then Free Code Camp is the best place. It's free. That is why I love this place, because they're giving out free knowledge, and they're doing what coders and computer programmers should do. It's a great website. It's free for everyone. You can simply go and check out. You can learn a lot of languages. You can learn different, just sign up with your Gmail, and then you can actually learn each and every language. They have a very amazing YouTube channel, and you can learn a lot from there also. So these were some of the websites. And yeah, before I talk about other things, I know a lot of you might want to further pursue the fields of computer science or any other domain related to technology in general. So here's one thing which you should do today after the session gets over. Go to the website called GitHub. I'm sure most of you must have already heard it. GitHub is basically like the Instagram for developers. So what happens on GitHub is whenever I make a new program, whenever I try to work on a project, I create a repository on GitHub, which is basically kind of like a project notebook, a project file. And the reason why people do it is because literally all of the, like, developers in the world are there on this website, and everyone posts their projects and everything. And you can interact with a lot of people, you can share your projects with everyone, you can get feedback on your project, on your code and everything. So this is something which you all should do. GitHub is an amazing website. Generally GitHub profiles aren't like this, they're very boring, but I don't like to keep things boring, so I created this entire GitHub website. Here's one batch which I received, which was very cool, and you guys would also should do all of these things. So basically what happened is one of my projects was selected for the GitHub program, and it is now in Svalbard, which is like the northernmost town in the world. So there's this entire vault where GitHub has stored code from all over the world, and they've printed and stored it, so, and even digitally they've stored it, so that in case of a global calamity we save programs, which is a cool idea. And I was very up for it. And you guys should be, checking out GitHub. That this is one suggestion I would like to give. Before I move forward, I'll stop presenting for a bit, and I'll take on some more questions or any doubts. And a lot of you might have doubts regarding, career aspects in this field, or how you can start with this field, how you can pursue particular, roles and particular languages you can learn. So anything at all, irrespective of technology or not, even if it's related to a different domain, I would be happy to take those questions right now. If you're scared to speak up, you can type it in the chat. And even so, if you're scared to type it in the chat, I will leave my email address. It is perfectly fine if you guys want to contact me. I've left my email address in the chat. If you need any doubt, any help, anything at all, I would love to help you guys. I am always up for helping any location. You guys are family for me. And yeah, if you have any doubts, any questions, any queries, ask them right now. It's a great time to ask questions. You should always ask questions.
Hi, can you recommend some coding language like Python?
Yeah, hi Tista. Could you repeat that question?
I'm asking, can you recommend any language like Python? Like I recently learned it and quite liked it, so I wanted to learn some more like those.
Perfect. That's a great question. In fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of students must have this doubt. So there are different programming languages that are taking the world by a storm, and obviously the first and foremost, which all of you should learn, which will be great for all of you, is Python. Of course. So Python is a general purpose programming language, and a lot of you must have already heard about it. You can create a lot of things with Python, but there are more languages which you can work with. First and foremost, one being JavaScript. So basically, when you've heard about web development, there are languages like HTML, which you must have heard about. So HTML is basically used to create the structure of a website. CSS is a programming language kind of a thing which helps to beautify that website. And JavaScript is the third part of that entire package, I would say, which helps websites to interact with each other, with helps websites with to interact with the server. So I'll give you a cool example. We are in Google Meet right now, and just a second. Yeah, we are in Google Meet right now. How do you think the website knows who is speaking, who to highlight? How do you think the website knows who has asked a question, who has entered in the chat? We have around 47 people in the meet, 47 different devices at 47 different locations, right? But all of them can interact with each other in this meeting in a very seamless manner. This is what JavaScript enables. It is also the language that is in space right now. So recently, when SpaceX sent their rockets into space, it was working on JavaScript. So this is one language which I would recommend you to learn. Apart from that, in school, C and C++ are very core, very simple, and very important programming languages which you should know. In we when we were in school, we learned C and C++ in our 9th and 10th, and then we had Python in 11th and 12th. If not, then it's fine. You can just focus on Python and not other languages. Honestly, when we were very lucky to be Lotus Valley students, because when we came to college, not many of the students knew Python, and we had already learned Python back in 11th and 12th. Not a lot of schools do that. So even though CBSE has given that option to schools, not many schools teach Python to their students. So take that opportunity, reach out to your computer science teachers. If you have any queries, or if you need more resources to learn these particular languages, I will be more than happy to help you out with any kind of projects related to Python. In fact, now that you've mentioned Python, I'll share this interesting game that I created on Python. Just a second. I'll present my screen once
Excuse me,
again.
sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Sir, I had a question.
Don't call me sir. I'm Anab Bhaiya for you guys. It's fine. Sir feels very overwhelming.
Okay, so I had a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I
Please.
ask?
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure, sure.
I wanted to ask, like, is there growth in game development in India, like
Uh,
Unreal Engine or Unity?
Definitely there is. I'm so glad that you asked, because first I was showing this thing. So what you see in front of the screen is of answering three stars question. I This was my first project I made quite a long back ago. This was my first project for a Python game. So when COVID struck, I was like, let's make a nice, cool, simple a game. I can share it with you guys also. And but then when I dwelled into game development at that point of time, answering your question, Neil, this is again, I created this entire game scene in Unity. So I call it Isle of Sakura. So I created this entire game where I wanted a samurai. I was like very overwhelmed with game development at that point of time. So I created this entire game scene where you could act be a samurai and live in this different levels of a samurai world. So if I understand your doubt, your query, yes, game development isn't something that is very very far, very very highly anticipated career in India. But if you're good at what you do, you do not need to work at a particular company. You could be an indie game developer, which is basically developing your own games and taking them to platforms like Google Play or Steam and whatnot. A friend of mine, he has his own startup where he was a game developer back in his school days and even in his college days, and he's earning very good now. And his parents were very worried about his job and everything, because he could not find jobs as a game developer in companies. So he ended up creating his own games and publishing them, and he's doing well off, pretty well off right now. And so yeah, I hope that answers your question. Game development has a great job perspective, not even in India, abroad also. In a lot of countries, game development is pretty much sought after. And the great thing is you're not bound to one particular platform. If you want to learn Unity, if you others don't know, Unity is a game development engine. So just like you have different softwares for different work, so like you have MS Paint to create paintings, you have Unity and Unreal. These are two different software engines that help me to create games, which help me to create this game. So I hope that answers your question, Neil.
So I had two more doubts.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Uh, One doubt was like, should I code the game normally or should I use visual coding?
Neil, which class are you in right now?
Eighth.
Eighth. For you right now, Neil, I would love the fact if you start with visual coding. If people in the meeting, if you guys do not know what visual coding is, visual coding is basically a concept where you, instead of typing and coding everything using your keyboard, you drag and drop different elements on different coding platforms, and then you join them together, and then you create games. And it sounds simple, but it is not very very simple, and it is very creative also. And the reason why I endorse visuals coding for kids, and in fact people till 10th 11th 12th also, is because you understand what is happening behind the scenes, right? So when you drag and drop that, if ball bounces, if I press a space bar, then ball bounces. So that logic of that game, when you visualize, when you see those blocks joining together and then the ball bouncing, that is very effective. And I sadly did not learn through visual coding. I wish I could. I did not had visual coding back in school, and I did it in college just so that I could visualize my coding better. And I would really endorse you guys to do that. Visual coding is something which even teachers in fact can use to learn coding at any age, because you don't have to type any code. You don't have to sit and think, oh my god, this is so confusing and complex. You just had to drag and drop elements and your code is automatically generated. Next question, Neil.
Sir, just finished learning C language. So which language should I pursue now?
You finished learning C in 8th grade?
Yes, sir.
Wow, I am impressed. I'm very impressed. That is actually great. If you're already done with C in 8th grade, then in ninth and 10th you should probably touch upon C++, which is the advanced version of C. And once you are very good with both C and C++, any single programming language in the world will be a piece of cake for you. So when we were first taught C and C++ in school, it was so confusing, so complex. But then when we came to 11th and 12th, we realized, oh, thanks to C and C++, Python became very easy for us. So C and C++ are the foundational programming languages, which if someone knows them, any other programming language would be very, very simple for you guys. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking these questions, Neil, and I hope you continue this. I'm very impressed. You've learned C at in 8th grade. It's really a great thing.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions now? All right. Since there are no questions, I would now move on to this interesting um uh, uh project idea that I had in mind. Before I show that project, I need to ask Shlok, how
Excuse
much time do
me,
I have?
Anab. Excuse me, Anab.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, Vandana. Yes.
Hi. Yes, yes.
That's
So,
Vandana Kindra, ma'am.
Oh, I am.
She's
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
oh,
hello.
yes, yes. No,
so
no
Anab,
worries.
while talking to Neil, I just saw that on your screen you were showing this Scratch Junior while talking about this programming.
Yes, yes.
So I am quite used to it as my daughter, who is in grade one, so she has already done Scratch Junior. So what's the next step after this? I mean, which other software can I teach her?
Yeah, that is amazing. If she's already done Scratch Junior, and yeah, in fact, in India it is not very common, but here it is very common to teach such visual programming languages. So if she's already done with Scratch Junior, I'll share this website link with you. I think I have it saved. Basically, have you heard about Raspberry Pi?
Not really.
All right, I'll share my screen. This is something which everyone should pay attention to. This is a very cool thing, very simple project idea. And in fact, this is something that led to a lot of my project innovations. So, Raspberry Pi is basically, it started off as a company which wanted to create computers, but not big computers. They wanted small objects, small toys to have small mini computers of their own. So, what you're seeing in front of your screen, this is a Raspberry Pi. I think I might have one with me. Just a second. Yeah, what you're seeing in front of your screen is a Raspberry Pi. And so what a Raspberry Pi, this is what it looks like. So what a Raspberry Pi like the task it performs is literally anything you want it to do. So it looks very complex, it looks very confusing and all. And obviously, yeah, it is something electronic based, so it is for students who are in higher grades. So what started off this company was they wanted students and other professionals to work on projects without having to worry about big computers and whatnot. So simple toys these days use Raspberry Pi in a lot of different projects and stuff. So the good thing about Raspberry Pi, is answering your question, Vandana ma'am, is they have this learning toolkits for small kids, where they have online visual programming setups. I had it saved. I'll search for a link and share it with you. What I'm trying to reach, the point which I'm trying to say is, so ma'am, Raspberry Pi is basically a computer in itself, and the what happens is that when you teach, if your daughter has already done Scratch programming, so similar to that, there is something called as Raspberry Pi visual programming, where students can make projects using visual programming itself. They can build simple games, they can create simple projects, and they can test how it would work like on a real computer, on a real device. So your daughter could actually build a simple um, hand gesture game, or a simple mobile application game, and something even cool, like she could actually build something like a face recognition game, something like that. And she won't even have to dwell into hardwares and electronics. She can do that all using that visual programming on that website. I will surely find that resource that I had saved for myself also, and I will surely share it with you.
Yeah,
That
thank you
would be
so
really
much.
helpful. I learned that
Yeah,
back
that
in
would be great.
Singapore. The students over there, when I was interning over there, I saw that in school a lot of students were taught like in that manner. So it is actually something which India should also inculcate, and I hope it will be very helpful for your daughter.
Yeah, so this Raspberry Pi is basically the next level for her.
Not the Raspberry Pi itself. This thing is something which is advised for people in 10th grade. But the resource which I'm talking about is kind of like Scratch. So you already know what Scratch is. She's already done Scratch programming. The resource which I'm talking about is kind of like the next level of Scratch, where she builds projects which adults would generally build on Raspberry Pi, but she does all of that on her computer using visual programming. So she just
So
drags.
would she need a tutor for it,
No,
or
no,
she
she
would
does
be
not.
able?
Does not. She definitely
Okay.
does not need a tutor for it. In fact, the best thing right now is for her to explore these things on her own instead of someone teaching her,
Hmm.
because it would be very cool and very innovative on her part. So yeah, I will definitely love to share these resources, and in fact help you in any way I can to provide such resources for your daughter, because whenever a small kid talks about these things and they're interested in these things, it really helps me up a lot.
Yeah, so I would love to bother you in future then.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Anytime. I would love to help.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna.
Yes, ma'am. So, any other questions till now, or I'll share this project video,
Yeah,
which.
Anab, just one request. Much that we are all enjoying the session, we'll have to keep a tab on time.
Yeah, I was about to ask Log the time and how much time do I have, or if I've already elapsed the time.
Yeah, so we had 45 minutes in mind, but I think we can do for 4 5 minutes more, and then you can have a questioning round. All right?
Perfect.
Is
I
that okay? I hope I'm not curtailing
No,
anything.
no, ma'am. I had prepared the session for this kind of time period only. That is why I'm cramming everything in the least amount of time I can. So,
No worries. We will disturb you again. We will give you opportunities again.
sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, this, everyone, what you see in front of your screen is one of the coolest, the best example of AI and art. So, a lot of my artist friends, they talk to me about how, they do not know computers that much, they do not know programming that much. But sometimes they say that wouldn't it be cool if their computers or your AI programs created art for them. What you're seeing in front of your screen is Nvidia, the graphic card company. They're great, legendary people in AI also. So what Nvidia created was this entire software where on the left hand side you draw something very generic which you would draw on MS Paint. You define what you're drawing. So like if you take the color, if you look over here, if you take rock and you draw something, the output is on the right hand side, and that AI draws whatever you're drawing in the most realistic manner possible. So I don't know, if I don't like, if this isn't magic, I don't know what is. Like, this was such a cool example when I came across this thing. So when you draw something, you draw simply anything, and this face that you're seeing on the right, this person does not exist. This person was created using this AI program right now. This person is not real. And this is also a cool website. This person does not exist.com, and none of these faces that you see on this website are real. So as I'm refreshing it, it is so mind boggling that this is such a realistic picture that I could have shown that, okay, this is a real picture, this lady must exist somewhere in the world, but she does not. I guarantee you, I swear, I'm not lying, this person does not exist. What you're seeing right now is an image of a person created using artificial intelligence. What you're seeing in front of your screen, all these faces, everything that looks so real, it's basically a person that does not exist. AI created all these peoples. It learned from different images of millions of real people that, okay, this is how humans look like, and it created these images. None of these people are real, and it every time I come to this website, I lose my mind for a few minutes. That how is this possible? How can something, a computer which has never seen a human, and this person is not real, how can they create such a realistic image? So I hope this hyped you guys as the way it hyped me. And finally, I'll share this link in the chat section, which is basically experiments with Google. So if you go to this website, it's about different AI experiments that Google conducts. And one of the interesting ones is over here. It's called semiconductor. So basically, the concept of this particular project was to create an orchestra which you can, control through gestures and whatnot. And you just have to, probably stand in front of it, and it mimics your entire body movement. And if you I cannot stand right now and go back, but if you do it at your home, you can, control the entire orchestra, and like you can wave your hands, and then you can do it. The ideas are written over there, and the tasks are mentioned, so you can just wave your hands and move, and then you can control the entire orchestra. It's pretty cool. You guys should definitely check it out. So these were some cool projects that I wanted to share with you guys. There are many tons of projects that I have on my LinkedIn also that I would love to talk to you guys about, but we're slow on time. So yeah, this one is for the people who are interested in game development. Just a small glimpse. I wanted to create a game where I use my own nerf gun and control that game. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a glimpse of what technology is capable of, and I hope I was able to do that in today's presentation. That's all. I finished this presentation right now, and I'll be taking questions. Do not hesitate to ask questions. Believe me, I've been that kid always who had no shame in asking questions, and that has helped me a lot. So be that kid. Ask any question that you have. If you think your question is stupid, it means your question is interesting. Ask it.
Anam, so there's a question on chat. It says,
I'm in ninth
I'm
grade
in
right
ninth grade
now.
right
Is
now. Is
it
it too
too
late for me
late
to
to
start
start?
coding?
Reed, are you kidding me? No. There are people who come for masters. I am in my masters right now. I have classmates who are married with children. They were people in different domains. There were some people who were psychologists before. There were some people who were in financial bankings before. they have come to masters because they want to code now, they want to learn to code, they want to work with computers. It is never too late to learn coding. Ninth grade is something which is in fact early for a lot of people, so no, it is not late. If you want to start coding, in fact for everyone, if you guys want to start learning coding, there are obviously a lot of resources online. But I'll be very honest, CBSE books are actually nice when it comes to coding. And it sounds very funny, but when I went to college and my professors over there asked me that, oh, you already know Python, what books did you learn from? I told them, sir, NCRT ki 11th and 12th. And they laughed and they thought I was joking. But it was actually true. These NCRT and CBSE books are actually good to start off. And if you want to go online and then learn, then obviously Free Code Camp, as I've already told you, is a great place to start. And if you want to simply start with basics, HTML is very basic, Python is very simple to understand and learn. So Reet, you could probably start with that. Any other questions? We have around 35 students, I believe. Ask questions, guys.
I have a question.
I heard two voices, Shruti and Ipsita. Shruti?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so I know how to do coding on HTML. Like I learned that in eighth grade, but I want to start learning again, and I do not know what to start with.
All right. So I understand. When I was also in eighth grade, school mein they taught us HTML, but by the time I was in 11th, I forgot everything, and I had to relearn everything when I came to college. It's perfectly fine. So if you want to start from the very basics of HTML, there are free online courses. Um, Again, for everyone, please do not ask your parents to pay for the courses. Do not take paid courses. You do not need them right now. You have your school, you have your teachers, and you have free resources online. Free courses are more than enough to help you guys. So if you want to learn, Shruti, if you want to learn HTML, CSS, and any form of web development, W3 Schools is the go-to place. And when I say it is the go-to place, I mean it in the way that there are developers in companies like Facebook, and when they have a doubt, they go to that website. It's like the bible of web programming, W3 Schools. Are you It's there for a lot of different other domains and topics also, but it is the website to learn HTML. So once you go to that website, it has a proper structured way in which it teaches the topics. And if you want to learn through YouTube, that is also more than enough.
Okay, I know HTML. I wanted to ask what should I learn after that?
Do you know CSS?
No.
All right. So what HTML is basically, let's say this notebook right now. So this page I have in front of me, the structure of this page, that there are lines and whatnot. This is HTML. That's it. So in the screen in front of your screen right now, if I had a blank Gmeet screen, that is HTML. But in order for that screen to look good, in order for the screen to show these rounded boxes, in order for that screen to have different icons for the different people who are present, in order for the screen to light up when I speak, CSS is needed. So HTML is like the body, CSS is like the beautification of that body, the clothes and the makeup. So CSS is the next thing you should learn. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. It sounds complex, it is very simple. And everyone over here, if you're looking to learn web development, learn HTML first. It's very basic, very simple. Then learn CSS. It's not that you have to finish HTML and then move on to CSS. No, these guys go hand in hand. So learn the basics of HTML, learn basics of CSS, combine them and create your magic. It's very simple and it is not complex.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Shruti. Any other
Excuse
question?
me, sir.
Vijay Lakshmi Mishra.
Excuse me, sir. I'm Benita.
Vijay Lakshmi ma'am is our teacher.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
wanted
She's our
to,
teacher. Yeah.
Sorry,
sir,
ma'am.
I'm Benita. I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you that, like, I have also learned Scratch. So, what can be the next platform on which I can be coding?
As I told to Vandana ma'am also, I'll share the resources with Vijay Lakshmi ma'am also if you want. Scratch is obviously a very 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 basic visual programming tool, and it's great that you've already learned it, and it is really amazing. I'm very proud of you that you've learned it at such an early age. So the next step of visual programming would be to create more projects which are a bit more complex. So when students generally learn Scratch, they build very simple games which have simple interactions between the user. So the resources that I will be sharing with Vandana ma'am, these resources will be for games and projects that would be good for students in fifth grade or middle school students. So you could probably build your own games and you can share them with your friends and you can take their responses. So imagine going to class next week and you share this link with your friends and your ma'am also, that hey ma'am, I built this game, and then your friends play that game and you can get their responses, and you can have a leaderboard and whatnot. So I'll share the resources surely with Vandana ma'am, and she can share it with Vijay Lakshmi ma'am also. And then you can probably move on from Scratch to Raspberry Pi or any other tool. So I hope that would help you.
That's great, Anna. It would be a great help.
Yes, ma'am. I
Please
would
do
love to
share with
help.
me also. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I had a question.
Yes, Ipsita.
How do you manage your time while pursuing your master's in coding and academics overall?
It's not an honestly very tough. Masters is very simple. Like it is the undergrad and 11th 12th that is tough. Like masters is free. Like the thing is they prepare masters program in a way where they expect a lot of working professionals to also join these masters. So we have classes, they're optional, like they are hybrid classes. So if you want, you can go to those classes in person or you can attend them online. And the classes have very easy timings, so they're spread throughout the week. And the modules are obviously complex ones, so they do not waste a lot of time on the basics. That is why there are less number of classes in masters. So right now my routine is like waking up for classes early in the morning at around 9, and then they go on till 11. Then I have this break till 1 o'clock. So if I want, I can go to the university then, because generally everyone prefers taking the early morning classes online. And then we go for our labs where we perform a lot of programming tasks. And the thing is, in India, assignments are very different. So we do not have those assignments yahan pe where you can simply ask your friend to send over that assignment, change a few things and copy. That won't work. One of my assignment this week for a subject which is human computer interaction, the assignment is I have to maintain a diary for 24 hours where I have to write every single interaction with every single person. I have to log in the time and everything. I have to mention how I interacted with that person and how that person would have interacted had I been a machine. So it sounds very complex, but it is like a very fundamental assignment for human computer interaction, because whatever I will be writing down, and we will be collecting all of that information from the entire class and creating our own data set and giving it to our machine. And then it will learn that, okay, this is how humans interact. So these are the kind of assignments we get over here. These are very practical based. In India, it was very hectic. I will not lie. I had classes from 9 to 5 for my undergrad with a 1 hour break, and at around 1. It got tough at some point of time. It got tough to keep a tab and everything. But the important part is to understand that whatever you're doing, first be happy and content with your subjects that you've taken. Do not be forced by someone else. Like if your parents think that you should take this subject, and if you think otherwise, respectably and respectfully try to explain it to them that these are the subjects that I am interested in, these are the subjects that I want. Luckily I wanted science and my parents were happy with it. They would have been happy with commerce and other subjects also, but it's not the same for all of the parents. And even for college also, I know a lot of people in my class who took computer science, and they did not want to do computer science. Their parents asked them to do computer science, or their relatives asked them to do computer science, or they just had this crowd mentality that hey, everyone is taking this subject, let me also take this subject. Don't do that mistake. Take subjects that you think you will be happy with. If you're unsure about it, then obviously yes, take a subject that would also be safe. Like sometimes I was, in school, sometimes students are like, no, man, I don't want to study. I want to take a football or something like that. Good. Work hard towards it. Prove it to your teachers and parents that you can actually perform very well in that field. If not, then obviously listen to your parents and teachers, have safe options also. So it's not very, very tough to manage time. You can obviously, I haven't watched television in like years, honestly, and now it's not even a part of my life that I do not even think about it. I honestly don't watch Netflix and other platforms a lot. I watch YouTube a lot. I watch videos and documentaries, and the remaining time that I have, I like to step out. You guys have been spending a lot of time on your devices due to the pandemic, and I feel so sad that you guys missed on these crucial school years, staying at home. School is obviously a great experience when you go there in person. So go outside, go for a walk. Do not take so much tension that you start to pull your hairs and you're like, nah, I cannot do this. You can do this. You have been doing it for so many years, just 1 or 2 years more. And yes, it will be a great experience when you come to college. Trust me.
I had a question.
Yeah, Suyash.
Yeah. Hi, sir. I'm in grade 11. So basically, this is not a very technical questions like
Perfectly
the
fine.
other ones that were asked. So there has been a lot of speculation about the safety through AI because, these days there are autonomous weapons. These are controlled by artificial intelligence systems. And I mean, a lot of research has been has been put into automation. So I mean, till what extent do you think that we should, curb this research? Because even before Stephen Hawking's left, he emphasized on how we should, stop researching more into AI because it could turn out like a situation as an iRobot.
Thank you for your question, Suyash. Yesterday, I was talking to Shlok and a few other students, and I brought up this topic. So, you see, and AI, right now, at least in the world, we are at a stage where we've reached just normal, simple artificial intelligence. The ones that we see in movies like iRobot, Avengers, Age of Ultron, Terminator, what you're seeing over there is called artificial general intelligence, AGI. So that is a form of AI which can directly think on its own. It can have its own thoughts, its own decisions, and everything. The AI we have in this world right now, it's not capable of that, at least for like a decade or so. I understand the concerns that people have that, okay, if tomorrow there is a machine that can think on its own, what if it decides that humans are a threat? That is why when I was talking about in the start that what AI looks like, AI is code at the very, very crux of it. It is lines of code that a human has written through the computer, right? And every code has certain rules that it has to follow. So whenever you think about those scenes in the movies, they do not focus on very important aspect, and that is the code that the particular developer must have written for that particular AI. It has to have the bias the person has. So what happened recently was Google was under a lot of flack because whenever someone run a facial recognition system, and it was very sad that Google's facial recognition system was showing as dark skinned and black people as gorillas, and people were so offended by it because obviously it was a mistake on behalf of the developers. And when Google inquired into this, they found out that the 4 or 5 scientists who were working on that facial recognition system, all 4 or 5 of them were white. So whatever images they used to teach their AI were their own pictures. So the computer learned from those 5 scientists, and the computer understood, okay, this is how humans look like. All of 5 of them are white, so humans must be white. This is the conclusion the computer came on itself. And so when there were black humans presented or dark skinned human presented to that computer, it could not recognize them as humans. This is a classic example of human bias and machine bias. So whenever we're teaching a machine, whenever we're creating AI, whenever we're working towards any project, this is our goal as computer scientists also these days, is to reduce the amount of bias. So if we create a machine, an AI that you're talking about, which does not have the human bias, then it won't favor someone over the other. It will take decisions that are simply very logical. And there a possibility? Yes, 50 years down the line, there is 100% a possibility of a scenario where a machine might have to take, a decision between ending someone's life. And this is something where we need laws for, and this is why a lot of countries here in Europe also and in US also, they are working towards stricter cyber laws for, machine learning and artificial intelligence. So let's first hope we reach artificial and general intelligence, because it will save lives also. And then let's hope the people who make the laws, they are good, moral people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
I
Thank you
have
Suresh.
so
a
much, Anand.
question.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So I've learned HTML and Python. So what would you recommend for me to learn next?
Do you like web development, or do you like to
Um,
make projects which do perform a particular task?
Kind of both.
Kind of both. All right, then you should go with after HTML, learn little bit CSS, and then jump towards JavaScript. So basically what JavaScript, I told one other student also, the cool part is a lot of my projects that you saw today, which I shared on LinkedIn, were made through this programming framework called TensorFlow JavaScript. So it's basically machine learning through Python powered by JavaScript, so that I can share it online with people. So HTML plus machine learning and Python is combined through JavaScript. So what I would suggest is learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript first, and then you can make your Python projects, turn them over to JavaScript, and share it as a website. So you have a full fledged portfolio of cool projects.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Quickly, everyone, I think we've elapsed a lot of time. I do not want to be,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, you made Isle of Sakura on JavaScript.
No, I made Isle of Sakura on Unity, which is a game development engine.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that's all then.
Thank you
Let's
so much,
wrap
everyone,
up,
for your
Shlok.
questions, and Mr. Anand for answering them wonderfully. I would now like to call Dinesh Tutoria to present the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Hi, Anab.
Hi, Divij.
First of all, I will start by thanking you for taking our time and
Yes.
enlightening us with such an insightful session. And I hope everyone is feeling the same here. We are willing to look. Sorry.
It's all
Yeah,
right. Chill.
yeah. We are willing for more, insightful sessions from your side. And I hope that everyone feels the same here.
I would love to take a lot more sessions.
Yeah. So I would like to, I think, echo the sentiments of all teachers who are constantly messaging me that how proud and how engaged they are. I can see Dipti ma'am smiling all through the session. So she has really enjoyed. And your session has been so practical for all of us that we all would be trying all those tools that you've spoken about. And I'm sure we will be knocking again for another session. And thank you so much, Anab. If any other mentor wants to speak, please go ahead. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session.
Yeah, hello. This is Vivek Yadav.
Vivek sir,
Hello,
Vivek sir.
sir.
Yeah, hello. Anab, thank you very much. I mean, I cannot thank you much because if I will thank you for so many things which you have given, so it will take again half an hour. Because I mean, yeah, I was glued to your session. Normally, I sit into a session and I listen it to it. Fine, okay, fine thing, okay. But I'm really thankful to you for one thing, and really, really, I'm also because this session was actually bridging that gap between a mentor and students. Okay, these students were just thinking, okay, I'm just asking Anabhi, and they were continuously asking. So this, this driving force was there, and you have given so many good things like Get up networking is too good. I mean, if they're understanding this unity, and so many good websites. So I mean, if they were so connected with you, this was the most special thing of this session. They were so connected with you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
because we do sessions, we have done many sessions. Students they used to come, they used to sit, but the level of connection, I mean, they were having with you, this is great. and thank you very much. And you were so high voltage supply that you have given so many things. I cannot tell you that how much you have given. So I don't know whether these students will, whenever they will try, if they have made notes or no, they should have made notes for your session. I am telling you, you have summarized so many things in such a beautiful way, okay, that I would like to thank you a lot.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, sir.
Thank you.
It means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
Yes. So thank you, Anam. We'll, really enjoyed and looking forward to many more sessions from your end. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the mentors and students for being there. Shlok for moderating the session, and Divish for vote of thanks. Ipsita for all the other pictures and social media updates. Thank you,
Also,
everyone.
I'd like, sorry, ma'am, but I'd like to add on here. I would like to take this opportunity to spread the word about our Instagram page, Explayasha Scientia. You can follow us there for updates and insights on this session and further coming sessions. I'll share the link in the chat.
Yes,
Perfect,
please do
perfect.
because we are waiting to touch 50 followers. And Anab, you can also spread a word for our
Definitely,
community.
definitely. I'll do that right now.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, everyone. I hope to interact with
Yeah.
you
Bye.
guys. Feel free to reach out. Take care,
Okay.
everyone. Stay safe.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everyone. Have a
Thank
Thank
you.
great
you.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anab, if you could share the recording of the session
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
after this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I think everybody really enjoyed. 1.5 hour. It's very difficult to keep the members glued until unless you have some compulsion. But amazing. Great. It was too good.
Thank you so much,
I
ma'am.
think Vandana ma'am is wanting to say something.
No, I actually wanted to thank Anab, and I'm really looking forward to more of your sessions. Maybe, initially in this beginning of the session, you created a poll wherein I clicked on cybersecurity. So I would like to hear from you something on
I would
cybersecurity, maybe.
love to talk about. In fact, cybersecurity is like my second favorite. Like after artificial intelligence, this is the domain that I am doing a research on. In fact, I'm filing a patent for a particular project also related to cybersecurity. And yeah, I would love to take sessions on that particular topic. I'm very much into cybersecurity all the time. In fact,
And secondly, the way you speak, it is so easy to understand. But otherwise, some high tech language, you speak in such a way that even not being from the same background, we I got to understand each and everything that you spoke about.
Yes.
So it was really understandable and quite a good enriching session. Thank you so
thank
much.
you so much, man. That was my
Yeah.
aim. I wanted everyone to enjoy and interact.
And
And
thanks
you
to
succeeded. You
you
succeeded.
succeeded.
Thank
Thanks
you.
to your session, we've touched 50 followers. So it's yay for Explicatio Sanchia. We've touched
Yeah.
50 followers. Thank you.
Anna
Bye, Anna.
biology teacher is also taking interest in AI now.
Ah, I saw Deepthi ma'am was so attentive throughout the session.
No, see,
That
seriously, I am planning to learn.
Sure, ma'am, you should. You
Anna has
definitely should.
motivated all of us.
In
Ma'am,
fact,
table से
yesterday
reverse.
when I was
हम
taking a
इसको पढ़ाते थे ये अब हमें पढ़ा रहे हैं.
नहीं नहीं पढ़ाता तो ये उस समय भी हमें था, ऐसी बात नहीं है, याद है मुझे. नहीं नहीं मैं एक्चुअली मैं मुझे लग रहा है कि व्हाट विल आई डू आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट, सो आई शुड स्टार्ट प्लानिंग माय रिटायरमेंट विद दिस इज अ गुड थिंग.
this is actually great, ma'am. In fact, yesterday I took a demo session for Shlok, Ipshita, and these guys. They wanted to see how the session goes. So I could not cover those topics today. I talked about how protein synthesis and how a lot of different DNA folding sequences work with AI. So I talked about those softwares yesterday. And yeah, medicine, cybersecurity, these are the topics that I'm very much
Once you
interested
get
in.
the cracks the entire that essence of the AI, then it can be used anywhere. That
Anywhere,
is,
ma'am, any different field.
anywhere. That, but the thing is, now I got interested through this session that HTML ये सब, ये मुझे याद है वो किताबें 6th 7th 8th वाली. भाई मैं भी अब एनसीईआरटी किताबें जाके लेने वाली हूँ.
Definitely,
मुझे
ma'am.
तो अपने रिटायरमेंट के बाद का एम मिल गया भाई. थैंक यू अनु. चलो, गॉड ब्लेस.
Thank you
Anna,
so
how do
much.
we
Okay,
connect
bye.
with you?
Good
Can you
evening,
share your
everyone.
mail ID?
Yes, ma'am. I've shared. I'll share it again.
He has shared his email ID in the chat box
I'll
now.
I'll share it
Okay,
again.
okay, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Anab,
Thank you
next
so much for
session
this
we will make
opportunity.
it
Really very.
focused to a particular topic.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. I'll
I
share
think we
again
do
a
that.
poll or a vote, something like that, and the maximum number of votes. वैसे AI को ही हर बार आते हैं, but I'll try to cover other
So like
non-conventional topics
Vandana
also.
ma'am is talking about
I would love
cybersecurity.
to. In
So
fact, I
yeah.
took this cybersecurity session for at NUS, where at Apollo also. Last year I was interning at Paytm under the cybersecurity domain, and while taking the session live in that meeting, I found a vulnerability on Apollo Hospital Sarita Vihar on their servers.
Oh,
Yeah, and it took me 5 minutes to get a database of all the patients and their diseases, which was a big issue.
Great.
So yeah,
Mm.
I have this card. It's back home in India where they gifted me around 1 year worth of free treatment for that bug.
Okay.
So
Okay.
these are the
Great.
things.
So yes, this can be a good topic of interest for students.
Yes, I would
And
love to
next
talk
time
about
we'll
it.
spread a word more for grade 7 and 8, because I think that is where you can
Very.
actually make an impact.
Sure,
Mm.
ma'am. Sure, I would love to
Yeah.
do that.
Okay. So thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
bye bye.
ma'am.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Take care.
Bye.